Hey everyone, today we're checking out the EXA GT1 gaming earbuds made for gamers with some very nice low latency. Now these retail for $49 US, but you can get them for $42 with my 15% off coupon down below. I'm also going to leave timestamps down there because as usual here, we're going in depth. So if you're picky with your audio, so am I. Let's get into another picky review. All right, let's start with the design of the earbuds. You've got that classic gamer look here. They have a kind of Cobra triangle theme going on with accents all throughout the earbud there and the actual shape of the stem as well. Glossy plastics covering most of the buds, smooth hard plastics on the outside there with some really nice blue lights on the buds. I really do like that color. Sadly, these do flash about every 8 seconds when music is paused or when music is playing. And when you chuck game mode on, they're going to glow as well. So you might like that. You might not, but if you do like your gaming, you want people to know, then those flashing lights should let the world know. Now let's talk about fit. Pretty decent here. You're just getting small, medium, and large ear tips. The large work the best for me. Fit is only moderately deep here, and also these are compatible with spin fit ear tips. And with my CP360 here, kind of matches the blue color, which is pretty cool. The buds sit nice and flush. Comfort is decent. I can wear these for about an hour and a half to 2 hours before getting any discomfort. And just keep in mind, I don't really like wearing most earbuds for more than about 2 hours. If you also want to use these when training, not too bad. When I clench my jaw around through those harder sets, the buds move around a little bit. So for light training, they should work fine. Just keep in mind that fit is going to be different for everyone. What I'm explaining here is for me. For you, might be a little bit different, but I find this kind of fit for most ears should work really well. Now, if you also like to use your earbuds when training, these have an IPX4 water resistant rating. So fine for splashes of water, you just can't submerge the buds in water. All right, now let's talk about battery life. So the advertised amounts here, you're getting 6 hours with the buds, 30 hours with the case, bringing the total to 36 hours. And in my testing, it's 70% volume on an iPhone 12 Pro with game mode off. Got 6 hours and 9 minutes. With game mode on, I got 5 hours and 45 minutes. So pretty good for game mode. There is no fast charge or wireless charging here, but they do charge via USB-C, and it takes an hour and a half to charge the buds from dead to full. Now the case itself follows on with the Cobra design that the earbuds are rocking. Build quality is nice. The case feels pretty sturdy, but is a little bit chunkier here, noticeably chunkier than the AirPods Pro case for reference. It still looks pretty slick though, and has the same blue indicator lights as the buds, and they also act as kind of the amount of battery left in the case, which is nicely done. The only issue here is that the lights on the case will stay lit until the earbuds are fully charged, and the buds will continue to flash when charging in the case as well. So if your earbuds are dead, you might want to chuck the case in your drawer if you're in a dark room, or if you want your room to turn blue. A slight con though, to open the lid of the case, you kind of got to use like either your nail or kind of like dig your finger in there. It's a little bit tricky at first, but it's something I did get used to. Apart from that, you've got a sturdy hinge here, strong magnets, and the buds connect nice and fast to your phone when you take them out of the case in under 6 seconds. Now let's talk about controls. There is no volume control or skipping tracks here, which for a bud release nowadays, I honestly don't know why this is a thing, but sadly, you don't have it here. But the sensitivity is really solid here. And when you double tap on the earbud to turn game mode on, no matter what volume you have, the voice prompt is really loud. So if you're like in a quiet room or you're listening to quiet music, that voice prompt is gonna give you a little bit of a scare, but at least you'll know your game mode's on. There's also no in-ear detection or app customization. Now into connectivity, just Bluetooth 5.0 here. Couldn't find the exact chip that they were using, and they only use SBC and AAC codecs here as well. In terms of Bluetooth range, I got 23 meters in my outdoor test in a clear open space and 13 meters in my indoor test. That's downstairs, upstairs, through 5 walls, a little bit below average for most true wireless standards. No multi-pairing here, but you can use the left or right earbud individually, and it does work in mono mode, so you hear both audio channels coming out of the one earbud. Now, in terms of latency, the most important part for a gaming earbud, and I was kind of confused with the Bluetooth 5.0 chip, just SBC and AAC, but I can tell you now, with just watching YouTube and Netflix and movies and that kind of stuff, some of the lowest latency I've ever seen, and this is without the game mode even on. And when you chuck game mode on, I was able to see some nice low latency there before I actually ran my proper latency tests. And with the game mode, of course, your latency comes down, but this doesn't affect the sound quality. But again, those lights will start flashing because you're in game mode. And I also tested these on my Nintendo Switch, since now they're compatible with Bluetooth devices. I tested my Bose Quiet Comfort earbuds, and that was like terrible. I moved like a meter away from my Switch, had my 2 Joy-Cons in either hand, and it just kept disconnecting and pretty much didn't work. So tried the GT1 here. I was sitting like 2 meters back, had both Joy-Cons going, and legit no interruptions at all. So Switch approved. Now, even though these advertise 38 milliseconds of latency, it doesn't take into account the latency of the device that you are using. And some of the lowest latency that I've tested, which was on the TrueWave 2 Plus, it was around 160 milliseconds, which is incredibly low. So basically, if you can get like 200 milliseconds around that or below, you'd be pretty good. So I'm going to check out my latency tests here on both iOS and Android, so you can see the latency for yourself. And I'll check out my microphone test right after as well. Alright, here's a microphone test with the Exa GT1 in a nice quiet room. And this is what they sound like with some crowd noise being blasted out of my computer speakers. And this is what they sound like with a fan being blasted right in my face to mimic what it will be like to be outside on a windy day. Alright, so here we are in the outside world with the Exa GT1 with cars zooming past me nice and fast here at the moment. They should really be able to tell the microphone quality and its ability to block out all the noise behind me as well. All right, before we talk about sound quality, a quick little drop on my Instagram here. If you want to stay updated with behind the scenes action of me and my audio ventures, link is down below. All right, on to sound quality. Now, starting with volume at 100%, these go incredibly loud. I rate them a 9 out of 10 on the loud listening scale. Anything above 85%, you're probably gonna go deaf. So if you want loud listening, you're good here. When it comes to lower level listening, these don't get my bedtime certification. They're still a little bit loud at the lowest volume. And I also did notice a little bit of white noise, static hiss, just in my right earbud. It's not too loud though, like if you're in a completely quiet room, if you go a couple clicks up from the lowest volume, you also probably wouldn't notice it. But if you are sensitive to it, just something worth noting. All right, now onto the sound itself, and starting with the bass here, this is a nice boomy bass response. Still hits pretty deep though, and I'll rate it an 8 out of 10 on the subwoofer bass head scale. But the way it's tuned, just a little bit too much mid bass, which does drown out the mids and the treble quite a bit. So the mid range here is nothing too special. It is a little bit recessed and vocals can sound a little bit muffled at times, but instrumentation still comes through pretty clear. So if you listen to pop and radio and that kind of stuff, vocals will still sound nice. It's with more chaotic music with a lot going on, like in metal and that kind of stuff. It kind of takes a step back a bit. The treble has been boosted here, but still that mid bass overshadows it sadly. It still manages to come through nice on some songs, but you aren't getting the nicest detail or sparkle here. But the positive of this, if you like listening to loud level music, then this treble doesn't really get too harsh at all. Surprisingly, instrument separation is actually pretty decent here, considering that crazy amount of bass. Normally I find instrument separation kind of just goes when the bass kind of takes over, but not too bad here. And also with soundstage, a little bit above average for this price range. Not the best, but I thought it would be a little bit worse considering the amount of bass you are getting here. All right, to explain the sound a little bit further, let's run through my genre rating checklist. And here are all my scores here. You can kind of see for genres like hardstyle, trap and dubstep and that kind of stuff, where there's a lot of focus on those sub bass and the lower bass frequencies. They actually don't sound too bad with these earbuds. When it comes to instrumentation and live music, things can get a little bit muddy at times on certain songs where there's a lot more going on. And with genres like psytrance and trance, the bass can get a little bit overpowering, taking away from the synths and vocals. But if you are using these mainly for gaming and you want a nice bass heavy sound to really hear those explosions, really get yourself immersed in the game, then these aren't too bad. And considering the separation here is pretty good as well, this will make it a little bit easier to hear those gunshots if that's something you're into with your shooters and that kind of stuff. So to wrap it up here, these buds do get it right on a few of the main areas, being that nice cool gamer design, the lighting of course, which you need, nice comfortable fit, and what's most important is that low latency. I was just expecting a little bit more at this price range, and in the congested world of true wireless earbuds, these don't really have a massive standout feature. Unless it's a cool design, nice lighting, then these might be the go for you. All right, thanks for tuning in. If you like buds with low latency, I'm gonna chuck up my SoundPeats compared video, which is a video where I compared 3 different earbuds that all have a low latency mode. So be sure to check that out. But in the meantime, stay tuned, and of course, stay picky with your audio, because life's too short for crappy sound. See you in the next video. Bye now.